of that.
Well, Sobek had a pretty good game for himself, but game 2 is right about ready now between RvL and eXcellence. And eXcellence, they're going to take first pick this time round and try and put some pressure back onto RvL. I will say picks and bans relatively even between the two teams, but just RvL made it work better.
There were some clear-cut strategies that RvL and eXcellence were battling against each other. We saw eXcellence banning away the Kumbhakarna in the 3rd and 4th away from RvL, not wanting to synchronize the Scylla setup, but the Sobek was doing a great job regardless anyway.
Guan Yu banned again. Ao Kuang banned again. No real surprises from these two teams. Surprising thing about the Guan Yu ban there is RvL banned it first last time round. eXcellence did the same thing. This means neither team really wants to play Guan Yu.
Or more than likely, they don't want
to first pick it.
They don't want to first pick it and then get counter picked. There's some options where second pick, they can find a 3rd pick slot onto the Guan Yu and then find the counter bans, whether it's going to be the Odin or the Serket, the anti-healing options.
Well, last time round, Raijin was banned and Scylla was first pick for RvL, but eXcellence will go to the Raijin this time for themselves in the mid lane, and RvL with the opportunity to answer back. They could hold off on the mage now. They can do that in the 3rd pick if they so choose to, and look to secure things up elsewhere.
A lot of options. I would more than likely look for the jungler and the support, but going to pick up the Soul. There's a lot of flexibility between that. Soul didn't really work out for eXcellence the last game. We'll see if RvL is going to be able to make anything out of it.
I mean, you see the picks and bans and the win percent. Soul's not really worked out for anyone so far. However, Thor has 86% win ratio when he's been picked in games, so already a little bit short up there. Do you expect Soul in the mid lane again?
More than likely, especially when you have a Thor in the jungle. That maybe that was the missing piece for eXcellence, not having that Thor to complement the Soul, having the long range setup to allow the Stellar Burst to guarantee connect.
Guarantee the connection of that. eXcellence, though, now with the option. HerpTheDerp did pick up an Athena early on last time round, but with that being banned away, he may look for the Sobek himself for the Raijin Nemesis combo, which is one thing we've seen multiple times before out of teams. Raijin obviously has a lot of strengths and a couple of weaknesses.
Going to be probably an aggressive jungler. I still want to see the Fender. Going to be the Willish. This early on is interesting to see the Willish. There is no clear counter on RvL in terms of who she can find to find the pluck and the ultimate. However, having the Bacchus belly flop is going to allow the Willish to find that target.
Well, the Bacchus does help, but Berserker Barrage is one thing you can't deal with. And a Scylla locked in against no Wheelish. You got taken aback by that one, Tully.
It's interesting because when the Scylla uses her escape, it's going to be an easy target for the Willish to use the ultimate. However, RvL's not deterred from that. They're just going to hold their ground, and whenever a Willish goes in, Thor and Scylla are going to be looking just to blow her up.
Yeah, it seems like confidence coming out from RvL there to pick the Scylla into that. They do ban away Odin, though, really worried about rings forcing more issues for that team. They're still pressured by that. And support focus now coming out from eXcellence with the get ban against the Bacchus.
Could also be in a Willish soul lane, depending on the matchup. We have seen some teams, not in the SCL, but the SPL in previous histories past, have run a specifically Cyclone Spin as well.
Don't know how the consoles feel, and I don't know exactly how Zenborne will feel here as the support player, but Ares is a pretty good pick here against those three.
I would certainly say so. You want to make sure that there's going to be no escapes available to them. But
I agree with going for Vamana now because you can see the last two members of eXcellence first, and if Ares is still there and opportune against Bacchus, can chain him, stop the flop, so Wheelix, well, she ain't doing nothing. And Raijin, no Thunder Crashes for you, my friend.
The issue with Vamana at this stage of the game is you're up against the Bacchus that does have a little bit of anti-healing available to him. Raijin is going to do a lot of damage in the late game. Vamana does a good job diving the Raijin, but as long as eXcellence peels back their Bacchus, and if he has a curse as well as the burp available to him, that Vamana is not going to be healing during the ultimate.
Well, eXcellence didn't do very well in the 3v3 in the mid game here with the mid jungler and support, so they're going to throw in Neath in there as well and allow the help from Noziaa over in the duo lane to influence things with that Neath Worldweaver.
And the last support pick for RvL is going to be the Kumbhakarna. Great setup for the Scylla.
Yeah, with the Iron Monsters available too, it's going to be a big one. Soul will be in the duo lane as we were thinking maybe mid, but back to the Scylla they go. RvL up 1-0 here over eXcellence, and on paper, I personally favor eXcellence's composition here.
eXcellence has an interesting aggressive composition where the Hercules is going to look for the pull pushes, Bacchus as well is going to try to set up the Willish. So there's a lot of aggression from eXcellence. You got the Neath Worldweaver as well during the jungle fights to complement the Willish trying to get that kill.
Well, one thing I don't agree with right now is what HerpTheDerp has taken at the start of this game. Suntouch springs to mind immediately. He's gone for Traveler Shoes, and he's gone straight into Wrath as well. So this is going to be a sneaky, not so sneaky fat man.
It's going to be a sneaky deaky behind the cheeky if he can find the speed buff.
With HerpTheDerp.
With HerpTheDerp.
What a name.
He's going to herp?
When he made that account.
So he's going to initiate on the speed buff. So that's him herping.
When he made that account, he sat there, well, what do I call myself?
I got this.
HerpTheDerp.
He's going to herp into the speed buff, right?
Right.
They're going to see him.
And he's going to derp.
And then he's going to Wrath.
Right?
And then once he picks it up, the speed buff,
Right?
then he's derping.
So, herp, speed, derp, dead.
Maybe.
Okay, we'll find out because we're going to tune him moving because there's definitely what's good. The game plan here is the ward is already down from eXcellence here on that right-hand side of the map. And eXcellence, they're throwing a lot into this play at the start of the game, especially against a Cabrakan and a solid duo lane. Neith, yes, she can 2v1 for a little bit at the start, but she's going to get out-pushed. And here we go. Herping, 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 derping!
Finds it.
Finds
Picks it up,
it.
and now he's derping.
Now he's derping all the way out.
He's out.
Perfect. I don't know, and he's going to be even ruder now. He's going to walk
he's
back
going to
in
stop
front
them
of
from the blue buff also.
Hey guys, how you doing? Yep, no blue buff for you. So no experience at all for RvL. It works out for HerpTheDerp, and it works out for eXcellence early on. The only problem is this puts Neith behind a little bit and puts Herp up a little bit more. She will get solo experience, so I expect Sol and Combo to really try and pressure this Neith a little bit earlier on. And he's actually seen away some more experience here, which it's not necessarily the best thing to do.
RvL are going to have to take advantage in the dual lane by constantly taking away the boars right now. Those are available to get invaded on, and Cabrakan is going to find a little bit of poke after clearing this wave. They should be looking for that. Left side mid harpies are available as well as eXcellence are going to pick up the right ones here. There's a lot of members in the solo lane side of things.
They do get a lot of poke their RvL onto Neith, but they didn't look towards the boars here. And now with Herp rotating towards mid lane too, securing the right and harpies, they can look for the left ones as well. This is actually allowing a little bit more time for Lycan to sit in the solo lane at the moment as well, which Gnome and zRapio both have to sit here too, just because they were behind from being denied doing speed and blue.
And now eXcellence going to start up the left side harpies as well. Thor getting taken a lot of health off of him. It looks like he probably got pushed under the tower, taking 1 or 2 tower shots in that regard.
Good start for eXcellence so far. And still, RvL haven't exploited the boars on the left-hand side of the map that were available that Neith wasn't able to take on her own there. Noziaa left up against him. The more invasions coming out now. His blue buff is being done, and it's going to be secured before anyone can get there. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit too late, and Herp's going to realize that even with its mobility of travel issues and speed buff, wasn't able to get there in time.
The double jungle strategy doing a good job so far. 3 members grouping up together in the early game, denying the back right harpies away from RvL. Is going to allow eXcellence to keep stripping the jungle away and getting a little bit of an advantage. And the left-hand side of things, the boards were finally taken away from the Neith.
It's a shame they couldn't take him earlier, though, because if they did, they would have been up a little bit sooner to be able to counter a little bit more. Still, though, Derp not going over to this duo lane, leaving Neith in the 2v1 still, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not sure if I want to see now Zenborne leave this lane, just to get an experience lead for the Sol.
You want to have a lot of experience into your Neith as well, because she benefits a lot with the levels. A lot of physical power her way would go well with the levels. Once you hit level 9, you have the level 2 World Weaver available to you. You're going to be looking for those jungle fights as well. Now, if you're going to go for the strategy, I would have loved to see the Neith stick with the Transcendence in that situation, just to have the MP5. If you know you're going to be in a 1v2 spot, you want to have that sustain.
And you can see the sustain from Noziaa there, a little bit low at the moment in terms of mana. At the moment, we'll have a mana potion ticking, but doing a good job of just holding the wave more often than not and clearing out the best he can, not being focused on too much. And this is a good game plan from eXcellence. On paper, I was like, oh, this is always risky, but if it pays off, it can pay off big, and at the moment, well, it's worked out well.
A little bit of an advantage, currently about 750 gold in their favor. Denied the speed buff away from the Thor. Having a level advantage as well on the jungle side of things is really nice right now.
Slowing Thor down from hitting level 5, I mean, that was a mid-wave just cleared out there, and Thor's still not level 5 yet, is a big important factor, especially when he takes Power Potion. He's looking for big plays early on, not able to find them, all because of this early invade.
Now, the thing about that earlier invade is the fact that they're not capitalizing on a second invade immediately after. They had the timer on it, they have the Wrath on the Bacchus.
That's why. They want to steal the red buff this time around, so they're trying to throw off RvL again, but unfortunately, Headhunter's already there, as is Zenborne. They're still looking for this, especially with HerpTheDerp coming over on the Bacchus again. He herps, but he doesn't manage to find the derp, unfortunately. Red buff does go down. Farleez disengages, and, well, everybody just walks away, unfortunately. Not found it. Boulder off the mark, not going to connect with Gnome over in the dual lane.
And in the mid lane right now, they're going to be a stun. Lycan taking the crush damage. The ultimate from Cabrakan not able to connect. Thor's up in the air. Looking for Lycan.
Oh, but he went deep, did zRapio there. Not going to be able to find anyone. Maybe he could turn this one around, but instead he saw Farleez there. Sick him, and the crush does connect onto Lycan there, but it's not enough damage for the kill. Still a burst comes out from Headhunter as well. RvL trying to even things up here. They seem a bit frustrated so far.
Red buff is available for them if they wanted to steal that away from eXcellence. Neath is in the left-hand side, going to get grouped up against the Soul right now, going to have a little bit of an advantage. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side of things, Predators was looking for a steal, not going to find it.
Needs to be a little bit careful here, but he has denied RvL doing the right and Harpies. He's still being looked at as Herp goes in, very low on mana now is Herp, and out of position with no leap away. This was the mistake as the root comes out from Zenborne on the Cabrakan, sets up for a free kill. First blood goes the way of zRapio. So all that work they did of trying to stop Thor getting ahead, well, he's even things up already.
And now with that first blood going into the favor of RvL, taking out HerpTheDerp right now, not looking too good. The strategy was there at the beginning. Unfortunately, the second round of rotations of the buffs just weren't there. The Farleez was there ready for the red buff invade, but he didn't want to be the first person around that corner. The Bacchus was just too far behind him.
You mentioned rotations. There's one coming out from Noziaa here to the left on Harpies. He's going to actually steal those ones away without anybody noticing. But now surrounded is Zenborne, but a big yawn comes out and the flop off the mark as the crush comes down, and everybody's going to just fall back to farming once more. And Noziaa needs to get back to that dual lane and make sure he picks up that full wave that's going into tower.
Don't want to lose too much experience there. This red buff was heavily delayed coming out of eXcellence. That could hurt them later on because the red buff will be available for RvL as the red buff dissipates away from eXcellence, which will favor RvL.
Flop in the middle lane. Purification used by Atonement there and a mistimed opportunity. Didn't even stop the knock-up. And that's the hardest thing to try and do. Time that Purification against the knock-up, which now there's an opportunity for Atonement to be really focused if he gets hit by an Awelix pull on the Sentinel escape.
It's very easy to find the belly flop yet again, even though the ultimate is going to be delayed a little bit. The ultimate from Awelish will be back up before the Purification from Scylla, so there's a little bit of a window that eXcellence could find the exploit.
When you talk about windows at the moment, you can see there's a little bit of a lead in terms of gold for Predators in the solo lane here. His advances build a little bit further, and obviously Gnome's got gold and inventory waiting for him to go back and spend both. Here, at least Predators looking towards the breastplate of Valor potentially here, which is kind of a standard item with a cooldown reduction as well.
Predator is just going to use his ultimate to clear the archers. Tried to hit the Vamana at the same hand, but couldn't quite find the right angle right there. Vamana currently level 9 to Hercules level 8. It seems gold-wise, both of them are very even. Going to finish the Breastplate of Valor. Quite at the same time, Thor is going to group up with the Vamana around the speed buff. There is no ultimate from Predators to try to find the steal.
And he's cut off by that wall for a second, but there was no collapse from Gnome, unfortunately, just yet. The slow misses as well. Good dodge and duck and weave from Predators there. Still being followed by 2. These two need to be careful because they did this last time, and he turned it. Driving strike onto RvL to reduce the Berserker barrage. Meanwhile, Lycan picks up Zenborne in mid. But as this is going on, Predator's still juking out, avoiding the damage. Double tap is all that's needed here. But there's a rotation for the team. The double tap, however, from RvL is on the mark, and even Atonement was there to clean up if required. It was a 1-for-1 trade jungler for solo laner. Sorry, support for solo laner.
Predators duck and dodge, but he didn't dip and dive, unfortunately, away from that kill. Good job from RvL being able to find that kill with a double tap so far. Going to allow the Vamana to kind of snowball this lane a little bit further. Already with about a half a level to a level advantage, getting that wave is going to be denied under the solo lane tower. Hercules is going to be really behind.
Well, he will teleport in, though, but he's going to lose a couple of minions there, and that kind of hurt him a little bit in that engagement. He overextended looking at the speed buff, and very well noticed by RvL with the wall there to pin him off and actually force the issue more than not.
We talk about the timings of the solo laners that are able to contest speed and blue buff in certain situations. In this kind of an early game, you're not that tanky to just be able to 1v2 it. Currently, when you're at level 14, you have your heal maxed out in that situation with a Breastplate of Valor. Then you could be looking for those aggressive plays poking your head around the corner.
You mentioned aggressive plays. Herp has been flopping around all over the map, looking for these engagements time and time again. Forcing abilities at least, and RvL needs to be careful. Now, lower mana in the mid lane, and that's why Zenborne's made the rotation too, to soak up the experience and make sure they can farm this one out. And there we go again with another engagement from Herp just off the mark, and now he's going to get turned on potentially and take a lot of free poke.
zRapio doesn't have much mana, wanted to back in that scenario, but a lot of return damage onto Herp right there. Soul is on the left-hand side, able to push the wave while Neath did rotate for those left mid Harpies.
Golfio maybe looked at here is 3 members of RvL on that left-hand side of the map. I think they were just looking for maybe the left Harpies more than anything else, but Golfio was an opportune moment. If they realized the speed buff was just being done by eXcellence, they had a prime opportunity.
And now with the speed buff being taken, they're going to regroup in the mid lane. As the Ryzen does push out the mid wave, there's going to be rotation on the left-hand side. Red buff is available.
Over to the dual lane, there's Noziaa, who did pretty well in the early game on his own, but he's actually still down on the soul in this lane, even though he had most of the time on his own in this dual lane. He just still lost golden experience overall.
And right now, Herp, he's going to be building more than likely into the Sovereignty right now. Going to want to try to get a little bit of the Aura protection item.
Well, the problems with this start is, he got the speed buff. Yeah, he got to a good start, but without Watcher's Gift, look at the gold difference between the supports right now. They're both even in terms of how much gold they've got, but at the same time, The level difference is there. The gold difference is now starting to creep up too.
The double tap is good onto Herp right now, taking a little bit of damage right now. Having that physical protection is going to allow him to survive against that. Hercules is going to get ganked, however, it looks like, as the chase is going to continue on from RvL.
Will find the knock-up, but Herp with a good flop and intoxicate onto Gnome. Going to force the big baby form. Boulder comes out too, not enough to find the kill, as the crush from Atonement will pick up Herp, who is then left alone. Predator's low on mana here, trying to create his own still, because he's got support over the wall from Farleez, who does finally find the hit onto Raichu there from the percussive storm, but it'll only just send RvL back after finding what they wanted, which was a kill.
And now Soul's going to be able to clear out the left-hand wave, and now he's going to rotate as there's an epic uppercut crush, and I'm a Monster is good.
Absolutely beautiful. Turns around, and that was on point, but a good Thunder Crash away from Farleez will keep him safe for now. But another pickup for RvL in the jungle here. The combinations coming out with this Scylla are just so strong from RvL.
And now there's going to be Thor going up into the air. Wants to make sure that he puts a lot of space to get away from the Tier 1 tower. RvL should be able to secure this Tier 1 tower on the right-hand side. However, Predator's not able to find the pole.
ZRapio did so well then, though. I mean, he positioned himself to defend, pressure the Tier 1 tower, force them all back, and then still look to pressure the right-hand side at the same time and throw eXcellence in such an awkward spot.
We saw that because of that Thor ultimate, everybody from eXcellence wanted to disengage from that Tier 1 tower. Nobody wanted to get dunked on. There was just going to be too much follow-up damage, and that's what allowed the rest of RvL to keep putting on pressure on the Tier 1 tower. Recognizing this was zRapio, just instantly disengages to the solo lane side of things. Just multitasking for his team is putting him in a really good spot.
It's the experience lead at the moment that's really going to be an impact for eXcellence. It's not huge, but 3,000 is starting to climb at 10 minutes in. Goldie's nothing right now, especially with a Gold Fury being the be-all and end-all of swinging that back to even again. Predators looking for the aggression on speed buff once again. This time, though, no focus from RvL, because I think they're worried about eXcellence looking at the mid tower or even the Gold Fury.
Curse was used, so Ravana does have more natural movement speed than the Hercules. Double tap is good, and Berserker Barrage going to be able to clean up Lycan.
Sick'em on the point every time from Atonement. When he's landed those Sick'ems, he's been pretty much guaranteed kills every time. Zenborne going to manage to find the route there onto Herp and force him to flop over the wall there. Just timing it nicely, that groggy strike before the Belch could connect for the stun.
And now left side mid Harpies are going to go into the favor of RvL. Predators and Gnome are going to group up in the mid lane right now. Goldfear not being contested. Herp is starting the boards as we do have Zenborne around the corner. Going to get rooted into place. Going to juke away from the flop. Meanwhile, Headhunter is clearing the left-hand side.
Yeah, he's just been annoying more often than not. There is Zenborne and Headhunter together, really combined. The speed buff is taken by RvL now, and Predators going to be late to find out it's down again. But he's still looking at this over and over again. This is just solo lane mentality. It's like, okay, it didn't work last time, but I'm still going to go for it again.
What's important also is it resets the icon in the minimap for yourself, so you know when it's going to be up the next time around.
So you can try and steal away. Well, Zenborne's setting up for a cheeky play from the jungle here. Has Blink available, I believe, to look for this one. No, he doesn't, I should say. Doesn't find the Yawn, but he did get the backflip, and no follow-up there, unfortunately. But not bad work. If he had Blink, definitely would have been a kill.
Would have been a very easy target, especially considering the fact that the Neef's backflip is very telegraphed. You could also force the purification on after the sleepy. Hercules going to look for the boulder.
And I believe he stole that one away. No, he did not. I'm lying. Gnome secured it for himself, and Predator is very disappointed after using the boulder, not finding it. A Gold Fury start from eXcellence on the left-hand side here, but I think RvL sniffed something out, and eXcellence recognized it too, and they're like, nope, let's not do this. Let's make sure we back away before we get engaged on from behind.
There was no vision for RvL. However, there is a Sick'em onto Farleez.
These Sick'ems every time. Herp goes in, though, onto Atonement there, but gets uppercutted in place. The crush, the Iron Monster's there as well, but the Iron Monster off the mark. Intoxicate came out, as did the Drums of War 2, and Headhunter forced to disapparate back to safety. So far, so good for both teams, I will say, because nobody's dead yet, but the solo lane is now making a rotation. Gnome's already here. Across the way, though, Gnome gets pulled back in, I should say, by Farleez there.
And the ultimate from Gnome is going to allow the rest of his team to be aggressive if they so chose, but they're going to look for it to play very safe right now. A nice root from Noziaa on top of Zenborne.
Predators just got exploded on that rotation. Got Sick'em and crushed, and that was it. All he had enough was for an Earthbreaker. However, Zenborne goes down into trade to Lycan, but that slow will impact him. Suku to the rescue as Gnome gets poked out heavily by the percussive storm coming out there from Farleez.
A lot of members are low on both sides right now, taking the one-for-one trade right now, favoring RvL, training your support for the soul lane right now. However, once the Hercules does come back, he does have the teleport, whereas the Ravana doesn't.
Oh, but Farleez overextended again, got hit by that double tap, did Thunder Crash away. And surprised RvL didn't go for the Gold Fury there. They could have gone straight for it. They would have had zRapio with them to be able to tank it up, and then Gnome coming back. And with, like you said, the Hercules being down, they had a prime opportunity to look at it.
They were a little scared the fact that they didn't have the Scylla I'm a Monster available to them to be able to secure that Gold Fury. They also didn't have the solo ultimate, so there's a lot of objective control for both teams, but they need their ultimates to feel safe about it.
Well, Herp over the wall, a little bit too late to that party. Left-hand Harpies are about to spawn again, though, and can be looked at by eXcellence, and it looks like where they're going to be going to. Zenborne's already around that corner, though, so both teams going to find out the left Harpies are available, and we'll see them in a fight. More than likely.
And it's going to be more than likely the Bak is trying to set up for the Willish ultimate, and respecting that his rival just going to allow eXcellence to get these left side mid. Harpies going to clear out middle right now and look for a better spot.
And I think that's one of the things we've seen as well. Herp's managed to find belly flops, but it's been when the Wheelix hasn't been around. And then when we've seen the belly flops miss, the Wheelix was there. And it's just been very unfortunate.
The pressure's just too much.
Trying to land the big combo. Predators trading off with Gnome again over in the solo lane. Not been able to find anything. Actually getting his blue buff invaded now, and Predator's going to have to deal with that as eXcellence still trying to control the Gold Fury pit.
And if you're the Gnome right now in this situation, you want to have some pressure onto your side of the map with the Gold Fury being up. If you can force the jungler to rotate over, that's going to allow Rival to force the Gold Fury.
And you can see Teleport actually is available, but look at that. Farleez forced out, and Rapio's in the sky, going to dunk down immediately to follow that one up and confirm it. Pull back under the tower, though, is Rapio. He'll be traded out by Lycan, as meanwhile Herp kept the other two very, very busy, but now the solo laners are rotating in. Gnome, as well as Predators, have both turned up here. Hunters are on the way as well.
Trading jungler for the mid lane right now in a 4v4 situation for both teams closer to the tier 2 towers of eXcellence. It's finding the Sycam yet again. A lot of damage on the Predators. He's forced to disengage.
Every time these Sycams are connected from Atonement, it's making an impact, but that's a very good Spirit Arrow coming out from Noziaa there. I'm a monster on the mark. Not enough for a kill, though. Boulder misses as Zenborne's still tanking up. Zenborne will fall, taking too many tower shots. Herp is back, but too late to save Lycan. World Weaver blocked by the Sanctuary more than anything else that will keep Atonement alive. And now Predators forced back yet again as Gnome was keeping the front line up.
Lycan did a great job flanking. Unfortunately for him, Scylla found the Sycam on top and didn't allow the Feather Step to secure the kill onto the Scylla just a split second too late.
However, that teleport coming out from Predators is big. They could look for Headhunter here. I'd rather them look at the Gold Fury instead, but they're going for the big play. They get Purification, which was beautifully timed from Headhunter there. Avoids the Spirit Arrow as well. And with so many members just being given vision now of eXcellence, Rival know the Gold Fury is under threat.
Ravana's teleport is available to him as he does back to base. We do have the Soul looking for the potential steal. The Thor comes crashing down.
Good dunk, but the Gold Fury is still being held and controlled by Predators. The Wrath did come out and go the way of eXcellence there for the Gold Fury, but the fight that's going to be after looks like it should go Rival's way. Gnome gets driving striked away by Predators there, but a 3-man Sycam and a 3-man Crush, and the beatdown is good, and Rival will come up big in that engagement and potentially be able to find towers.
Famana's not done. Gnome is... Okay, he's done. I thought he was going to keep chasing. A lot of soul laners in that situation.
Sycam, man.
Like, I'm going to go get this mid laner. I'm going to show him who's boss in that situation, respecting the fact that Raijin was out. Just wanted to zone him out, and now the rest of Rival is going to be able to get this tier 1 on the left-hand side.
4 are going to group up for that. They're going to have to use Zenborne to tank up initially. They've got no minions coming. They could look for a tier 2 here, because by looking for the tier 2, it will allow Rapio to get that tier 2 in mid lane as well. They've got Gnome with them, so he can tank this up for a little while, and that's why you can see Raijin and Herp on that back is having to go over there. But meanwhile, the tier 2 in mid is going to fall too.
This is the perfect timing also, because now the Thor can regroup on the left-hand side with all 4 members, and it looks like HerpTheDerp going to stun out Gnome. However, the damage is just not quite enough to follow up, and that tier 2 tower is going to go down as well, putting Rival in a very comfortable 5,000 goal lead and finding Lycan.
Wow, Rapio finding Lycan in there as well. Just makes things worse for them. They've lost 2 tier 2 towers at tier 1 for a Gold Fury was the trade, and not only that, the amount of lives they've just lost, and that's why the dip from Rival there, it was almost even after that Gold Fury. Well, it's not anymore.
That experience lead right now at the 18-minute mark is quite a comfortable one for Rival. Looking at the experience difference, it's about 2 in the favor of the Hunters and mid laners.
So what's going wrong for eXcellence, honestly, overall here? They're just being off the mark with their abilities more than anything else, or
I would say the start that they had, eXcellence at the beginning with the Bacchus initiation and the steal from the speed buff, delaying the blue buff as well. Unfortunately, they didn't continue that strategy. Whenever you have something like that lined up, you need to execute it again. And if not on the speed buff, go into the red buff. And we saw eXcellence try to go for the red buff. Unfortunately, it was only the Raijin.
And in the end, it's Rival's team coming up big right now. Predators being pressured by all the members of the team. Supernova drop 2, driving strike already down. There's going to be no escape from this one. Juggled to death he was, and Predators will fall. Will Weaver blocked there by Rapio as well. And now they're looking for another tower on the right-hand side, and only 4 members of eXcellence are here to defend. Well, they're not even there yet. They may have to defend the tier 2 with only 4, or give it up.
Rival know how to close out a game, taking advantage of the out of position Hercules. Without that big tanky front line for eXcellence. This should be very comfortable for RvL to be aggressive and dive the backline.
Noziaa forced to backflip away from the Iron Monster. Atonement got tower aggro there, forced to purify. As Zenborne did get a good yawn off, and the beatdown begins from Gnome into the Epic Uppercut. But where's the follow-up? Only the Sycam off the mark. Not going to find Noziaa, who's still trying to run away from Gnome, who's being beaten and staying in big baby form, and will find the kill as the tier 2 tower falls. They can now look for more.
And now with that second pick as well, Hercules is now respawning. They have a small window RvL to get this Phoenix.
Herp goes in with a big flop, and the drums of war are sounding, but the drums of war are not sounding hard enough. Gnome looking for the double tap and finds it onto Lycan and picks him up. Now Herp surrounded and picked up by zRapio potentially here as the rest of his team are going to bring down the Phoenix unless Predators can make him stop.
Both double taps are good from the Ravana and Thor. Predators are going to be able to driving strike away, but he has nowhere to go afterwards, and that's going to be another kill. And now with initiation from the Raj, and he's going to fall. Everyone is going to be dead.
Dominoes, one
side.
after the other, they go in. The best news, though, for eXcellence here is that they've got no health.
Yes, they can't end at this position. Even with the mini wave coming up right now, Neith has respawned. Bacchus is surely to follow up. Right now, what RvL needs to do if they want to win this game is get healthy, get the Fire Giant, get the last 2 remaining Phoenixes, and then close out the game.
Just head back to base and spend all that gold, first of all. I mean, overall, they got 3 tier 2 towers, 2 tier 1 towers, and things are looking great for them. And they will even steal away a speed buff. A little bit of a lazy back from Gnome, but Noziaa still not happy about trying to contest this. He's going to try and stop him backing over and over, and Gnome recognizes it, so he's going to reposition.
That's the ultimate disrespect. When somebody cancels your back, you just back anyway, right again in the same spot, barely even moving.
You've done that before, haven't you?
No comments.
Be honest. Be honest.
No comments.
Do you do it a lot? Is it your favorite thing to do?
I have a problem.
Or we're just trying to lazy back in front of people?
Problem.
You do?
I have a problem.
Play ranked. It's a problem.
That's what you do in ranked, honestly. You just be very annoying as you possibly can.
Double tap from Rapio. He's on cooldown, and they're going to try and recognize this eXcellence and make a play. Rapio, too, recognizes the mistakes he made, so he's forced to ultimate, but he ults in place, coming straight back down because he knows he's got reinforcements coming. Watch Atonement. Those Sycams have been on point, and if he can find another, which he just did on Lycan, Lycan's health bar has evaporated, and now he's in the sky, and he will fall down to Atonement after the epic uppercut. Driving strike was good from Predators to force them back, but I'm a monster is signaled, as is Gnome in the big baby, just pushing back the front line of eXcellence.
Beautiful zoning away from Gnome is going to allow the rest of his team to find the kill and going to find the mid Phoenix as well, as Predators is going to have to back, and he's in trouble as well. There is no fire wave coming into the right-hand side quite yet.
There is. Look at it. It's all there, and meanwhile the Sycam's still connecting as Rapio picks up Noziaa there as well. They can look for the Titan, but the Titan being dragged around by the team. A bit mistakeful here from them. They could close this out right this second, but they're taking a lot of free poke, and still the regens are happening. The Titan still stands for now, but for how long?
As long as the pull push doesn't happen into the fountain, there shouldn't be a problem for RvL to be able to close out this game, and indeed, they find the 2-0 victory, tying them with Barrage, currently at 3-1.
With Barrage, what a crazy set between those two teams there today. RvL, good performance from them both games. Overall, what do they need to look out for a little bit more going forward? Their aggression seemed pretty strong. They've got to watch out for about cheeky invades, though.
They do. They didn't have the wards around the soul lane. They didn't respect the fact that the Bacchus could have potentially done that. They were comfortable enough that the Thor and the Vamana was strong enough in the 2v2. However, they didn't take into consideration the 3v2. Good
performance from RvL here. And with that, them and Barrage now tied at the top of the standings, as we said. There's a bit of a gap between the two. And, well, you can see it on the screen here. eXcellence did find that 2-0 over eXcel. eXcel slipping to 0-4, but the EU standings, honestly, in the EU console league this year, it should be an exciting one because I still couldn't tell you who will win this by the end.
I can't tell you either right now. This is going to be my first SCL, and I'm really excited to see these players play. There's a lot of similarities between the PC and the Xbox side of things. It's very interesting for me.
Not only that, we do have North America as well, but let's go back to that game to begin with and just go through some of the plays. Rapio had a pretty good performance there. So did Atonement, but the whole roster of RvL seemed to play pretty well anyway.
The way that Noziaa set up Atonement in this game, the first one specifically, was just beautifully done. Always looking for those opportunities, getting those early picks, able to pick off Lycan in that situation, but most of the time they were able to pick off Herp in this first game.
His timing's very good, though, from what we can see coming out from Atonement, following up. He's listening to the sound cues is such a key thing, and this second was huge.
Oh, the
hitting 3. I just allowed for the triple kill more than anything else. Scumbags of the teammates, though, stole it from him.
They stole it, but either way, it doesn't matter. It always feels good. And this was the counter engage that happened from Rapio, able to find the ultimate without getting the stun off in the first place.
And up to that point, eXcellence had a fantastic start to the game. I actually think eXcellence's early game is probably the strongest in the EU right now. They're very aggressive. They're finding picks. They're finding their rotations early. But after that, they've just not got an answer.
they have to be able to execute a strategy objectively, whether they find the buffs, whether they find the mid-harpies, doesn't really matter. They have to find something in return.
So with that, that could be the conclusion of Europe today. We still have more Console League tomorrow, though. North America edition will be coming at you with 3 sets there as well. Team Eager versus Kingdom Esports, Most Wanted Esports versus Noble, and then to wrap things up, we've got Soar against Elevate. Some exciting matchups there too, Tolly.
It's going to be interesting. I'm really excited to see all 3 of those matchups tomorrow.
It's been a fantastic day, boys and girls, and I hope you're all enjoying yourselves at home too. But that's it from us today, and we'll be back again tomorrow. From all of us at hi-rez Studios and everybody working here at production, especially Peckies, we'll see you all later. Have a good Saturday.